Alright, so I am super excited to finally get to do this video. I've been planning this and thinking about this video for a very long time. I've put a lot of work and effort into this one, so please subscribe, like, I appreciate you watching. But we are finally going to build the Mathews Lift 33. I bought this bow the day it dropped. I went to buy a Phase 4. I'll explain why here in a little bit. But instead of buying a Phase 4, I shot the Lift, fell in love with it. I thought this would be a good one. And I was looking for something in that longer 33 axle to axle. The reason is because I want to use this as a backup hunting bow at the moment. We'll see how it goes. It may end up being the hunting bow. But right now it's a backup hunting bow, 3D. I might shoot a little indoor with it in the spring, just kind of see how it gets, how it does. But that's to be determined. But earlier in this year, the hunting season, I cut the string accidentally on my Levitate. So in the middle of bow season, my Levitate was out. I got extremely fortunate that the bow shop I use had a stock one laying around for somebody that had upgraded to an aftermarket one. So I was able to get a string put on my Levitate in a matter of a couple days. Very lucky. It could have been weeks. So that's when I finally just said, you know what, I got to bite the bullet, have a backup hunting bow that I also use for 3D and things like that. I still have my PSC over here, the Supra, that I use for indoor. Really like it. I used it for 3D last year and loved it. So great bow, but I want one that I can also, if I have to, make a few adjustments and be able to take it hunting. And maybe I'll take this one hunting here in a few weeks, so stick around, maybe you'll see. But let's get to what we're putting on this bad boy. All right, so first things first, the Ultra View grip. I wasn't gonna put this on because I was afraid this wouldn't match exactly, and I figured they're gonna drop one that will match. But then I thought, well, I do want to shoot a little indoor with this, and I shoot a lot better with these square grips, a little thicker grip. I do not like the Engage grip that comes with Mathews bows. But I do like the Ultra View grip, so that's going to go on there here in a little bit. The Engage limbs, these are ones that are made specifically for the newer bows like the Lift. If you haven't tried these for Mathews, they are steep, they are more expensive, but the ability to just set your bow down and walk off and not have to worry about it falling over or the cam being in the dirt, these are awesome. For 3D, these are incredibly great because you're always setting your bow down, picking it up, shooting, setting it down. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. Peep Site wise, I'm going with the PXS Target Peep in black from Specialty Archery. The reason I use this one is because it comes with both angles, 37 degrees and 45 degree in one peep. So you don't have to buy one and then hope it fits right. You can just change where you've got it tied in, and if you want to adjust that angle. And I already use this peep on my PSE target bow, so I have the aperture kit. So I really love that I can adjust this aperture, so if I change sights, I don't have to change peeps, I can just screw in a different aperture. And if I use it for 3D and indoor and I want to put a verifier in it, I've got the ability to do so, or a clarifier. I never can keep them accurate, but I can add one of those to that easily. So that's awesome. Now over to the fun stuff. I'm using a Hamskea Trinity. This is one I actually took off another bow. It's used. It's one I've had for a while, so really like the Hamskeas. I've got a couple more of them. Putting them on my kids' bows. Big fan of these limb-driven Hamskeas, and I can hunt with it, and it's still really good for target archery. So that's that. I got this used off of a Facebook marketplace group, if you want to call it that. It's an HHA Tetra Max tournament bar and dial with a Ultra View UV3 scope. So I really like the Ultra View scopes. I use that on my PSE indoor bow. So again, I've already got lenses for this. I've got different kits, single pins, double pins, 10,000th, 19,000th. I've got all the different kits. So it's really good that I can just swap this back and forth. And I have this exact same bar on my kids' bow, so I've got the tapes and everything that I need for that. I did not cut this, somebody else did, although I like it. I wanted it cut, I would have cut it myself, so the guy I bought it off of had already cut it. It's not the carbon one, so you do have this shine here, so I'm going to take a little Sharpie and just hit that with Sharpie and knock that shine off, which doesn't affect anything, but it does look a lot cleaner when that bar is not sticking out the back. I believe Chris B kind of made that popular, so something to think about on if you want to do that to yours. As far as stabilizers, this is just a dead center front stabilizer bar, straight. This is a little cheaper method. This is a Amazon Chinese special, straight from China, rear bar. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would you put this cheap thing on such an expensive bow? This is $30 for a rear bar mount. I've got this on 4 different bows, kind of my kids' bows, and have no issues. Never given me any trouble. You gotta tighten it up once in a while, but I can't justify spending $100 for a Shrewd or a Mathews or more for one of those when I can get this for $30. And I set it, I forget it, I don't adjust it. I just can't. I can't beat it for the price. So save a little bit. Try these Amazon ones. They've worked good for me. Stabilizers, we're using Squatch Archery. If you hadn't checked out Squatch Archery, check out their Facebook page. They make really good stabilizers. These are Micro Pros, so they're extremely thin. Carbon bars, you get the weights with them. Does really good work. I've really been impressed with them. Some friends of mine use them, so I thought, well, I'm gonna use them too. This is a 10 and a 12. I've got a 15 in the male. This is their tan color, I guess. I don't know the technical name of it, but it matches the Mathews Earth really well. So if you do order for them and you have the Earth, you want to match that. I think you got to message them and say, hey, can you put the tan colored logos in my order? So that's what we're putting on it. Let's get down to building and doing the fun stuff. All right, so before we get into this too far, let me emphasize a couple things. One, I'm not a bow technician. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just an idiot with a YouTube channel that likes bows. So if you see me screwing up, don't be shocked, number one. I'm just like everyone else. I got a YouTube premium account, so I watch a lot of Dudley and Chris B and stuff like that. So I'm more of just your poor man's Chris B. So what you see is not gonna be necessarily the perfect way to do it, but it's just how I've done it. I've done a few in the past. You can check out some of those videos, and they've turned out really good. So go watch those videos after you watch this video. The other thing is, if you haven't already checked out Bow Crew, this shirt right here, check them out. They have the interests that you've got and I've got: archery, hunting, outdoors. If you're going to buy t-shirts and hoodies and hats, don't buy Nike and Adidas and Reebok and all these companies that don't care about hunting or you, and buy from companies that represent you, and use RRR Woods 20 at checkout. Save you 20% as well. So great company, great people. Check them out. It helps the channel out so we can make more cool videos like this. All right, so first thing we're going to do is get this Engage grip off and put the Be Real grip on. I'm sure if you're using a Be Real grip, you probably already know, but you got to get rid of all this goo or that will never come off. And I have made the mistake of not getting that off. So make sure you peel all that off. All right, so we've got all the goo off there. We've got our Engage grip. Throw this on. Perfect fit. Color is just pretty dang close. It's just a slight different shade, but pretty dang close. Next up, we'll bolt on our hamski. So I'm going to have to take this rubber piece out because I don't have the integrated rest. So I'm going to have to use this. At least get it temporarily snugged up. Loosen this. Ballpark that until we get an arrow and get our D-loop and all that in. Okay, so I'm just going to use, good thing about this Trinity is it has 4 different points you can use for the set screw. Alright, so we won't crank that down because I'm sure that is not exactly where it needs to be, but it's a good starting point. Once we get ready to, this D-loop was on there from the shop, so I'll have to cut it off because it's not going to line up with that. Carefully. Try not to cut these match strings. Everything looks good there. So we've got our drop away on, we've got our grip on. I guess next is the sight. Okay, so we will run this in here, grab our bridge lock screw. Alright, so I'm gonna get this started. But before I cinch it down all the way, I am gonna get a Sharpie and we're gonna color that. So since this is not the carbon one, we've got a shiny area here. We're just going to hit that with a black Sharpie. This Sharpie could not be any closer to being out. Good starting point. We'll get a better Sharpie in the future. But that makes it look a lot better, not having that shiny end on it. Like I said, I'll get a better Sharpie, but for now, it's what we have readily available. Okay, bridge lock sight is in. Next up is stabilizers, and since I've already got it up here, I'm going to go ahead and do the rear one with this sweet Chinese knockoff $30 rear mount. It'll probably break on me now that I've dragged on it a little bit. But it comes with everything you need, the little quick part for your stabilizer itself. It even comes with a wrench. For 30 bucks, that's pretty hard to beat. If Shrewd wants to send me one for free, I will gladly take it. Until then, it's going to be hard for me not to buy the $30 one. Alright, nothing too special here. Just going to get this bolt through there to begin with. Crank that down good. Alright, so that's good. I don't have an exact number or anything that I've ever thought like I have to have this set to, or as far as the angle and the kickback. It just kind of, I think all bows are a little different, how you hold them and the grip. So for now, I'm just going to have it down and away, and then I will tweak this as I shoot it. But I am going to go ahead and tighten everything up, snug it all up for that. I'm using this 10-inch bar for the back bar. Alright, so I flipped this bow upside down so I could work on this front stabilizer. We're using a dead center front stabilizer. Nothing too special about it. Just got to remind myself it's upside down. Alright, so that's enough of the fun stuff. Now it's time to get down to business, get on the press, get our Peep Site installed. So I'm going to take these bars off. Don't think we need them for this part. Alright, so we're going to start with the Peep Site. Alright, so the dot should be on the left side of the peep for a 45-degree angle, which is what we want. Make sure nothing's hitting. Good there. Alright, so we've got our string separated. We want the dot on the Specialty Archery Peep on the left side. Alright, so I think we've got this where the dot's on the left side giving us the 45-degree angle instead of 37, which is what we want. We're going to do a quick little temporary tie just to hold this in the spot. We'll still be able to move it, obviously. Not going to be anything permanent. So even when we measure, okay, so we just got 3 knots, I believe, on this, just to kind of keep it from falling out. And if we were to shoot it, it won't fly out and hit somebody, or me in the eye, preferably. And there's always a chance I'll have to redo that anyway, because again, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, Peep looks good for now. We'll have to adjust it, I'm sure. So to tie in, since I like my easy green rest, I want it on the table, not hanging over, because I don't want my bow to come out and fall, which is a big worry that I have. So I keep mine on the table. So I've got an old arrow here, same nock that I use, a biter nock. So when I'm checking nock point with this, I can still do this from the table. So again, no, this won't be just perfect just yet. All right, so that's pretty good right there. I don't know if that's perfectly level. All right, so I just used this, I believe these are Ozark Mountain products. Just use this on the shaft, just holding it against the shaft to try to get the shaft level, and that's pretty good. Alright, so without trying to move this a whole lot, so I'm going to tie 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom. And I don't have a good reason why, other than that's what other people do. So, I don't know. Alright. So that's pretty good there. We'll go off of that one, double check our level. That's pretty good. We can actually come down just a touch on the riser, on the rest, which is good. Probably ought to come down a little bit. Where did my cutter go? There it is, right in front of me. Okay, so cut these off. They're very dull. That. Now we'll do another one below it, and I believe we'll do 3 below it, with just enough for about 1 string serving between the 2 sides. So we do want a little bit of slop in it. We're going to try to go for 1 on each side. 1 serving size on both sides. So we're going to do 3 knots on this end. One on top, 1 on bottom. I won't cinch them up till I get to the end. So, just gonna make sure I have a little bit of slop in that before I tighten it down. It's gonna come one more on the top, and then we'll do a square knot on the end. So that's pretty good. Okay. Double check it, make sure still got the slop we want, and I can't push that, what would be the bottom tie. Can't push it anywhere, so. Get a new blade. Okay, so we have those, so now we are ready for Dloop. We will go with black. All right, so Dloop, this is one of the parts that I always somehow screw up, but that's okay, because I got YouTube. I can always find it on YouTube. I can watch Dudley tell me how to do it. So, I'm gonna fluff this end out, as I'm sure you've seen everyone do 1,000 times. I'm gonna melt that down. Press that into a bulb. Flatten it out a little bit. Cool it down a little bit. All right, so we're gonna go around, and I have to look this up every time I do this. And it may be wrong still. I'm gonna pull this through. This side, the first side, is the one I generally get okay. Pliers and roll that first one. Seat it in there good. Alright, so I think that first one, we've got it pretty good. Alright, so then we're going to come over to this side. We're going to go back through. And then over and back through. And that'll give us a knot on the opposite side. Oh, reverse that. We're going to go over, under, back over, and back through. We should have our knots on the opposite side. Yeah, so that knot will be here once we cut and take care of it. So we've got way too much material, so I'm going to feed that through. Okay, so this will probably be a little longer D-loop than you see on others. I don't mind a long D-loop. I think it makes me feel a little bit better about torquing my release and not getting some twist and stuff on my string. So I don't mind that a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this, fluff this out. We're going to make a ball out of this side. Remember not to burn your strings. Flatten that out pretty good. Hit that just a little more. Give that a second. And then from this point, we're just cinching her down. Okay. Thing looks pretty good on our D-loop. Probably just a little tighter than I would want it, but I think it'll be all right. All right, so now I'm going to take it out of here and let's level it up. All right, so I've actually got a lighted knock on here, a nocturnal knock. So it seems to be good too. It's not too tight, got a little bit of slack in it. What we're going to do now is get everything level And then as soon as we get that done, we'll go to the Peep. Just now notice my UltraView sight, the bubble in it is massive. I don't know how that happens, but I guess that's what happens when you buy stuff used sometimes. Luckily, I've got 100 of those, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Right, so a couple different things happened there. One, our SD card got full. Two, the camera got too hot. Three, the level on this UltraView sight has a huge bubble. I don't know if that's from air getting in there or what, but it's not usable. It's the bubble's so big you'll never get it level. So never seen that happen before. Luckily they send you like red and blue with them, so I just threw the red one in. Not crazy about red, but it'll get us by for now. So what I've done, got our arrow in here. We're going to check the level. I'm thinking this hamsky's going to need to come down a little bit. I'm going to throw our string level on. The UltraView is already level. We'll put a level out here. Yeah, so we're level on the string, but our arrow is too high. The out here is too high, so that's what I figured. We'll have to bring this down a little bit to get our bubbles level here and here. What we will do, we're going to loosen this and then micro tune, lower it. Okay, so we're good here. So when we hold this against the string, it's nice and level. When you look down at the bubble on the string, it's nice and level too. Supposedly, these move just as much as the limbs do, so you should be able to have your hamsky, or any limb-driven rest, run off this. Then I'll adjust this tensioner here to actually go down and tighten it up and drop the rest down. Our blade is actually staying down, and then when these compress, we should see it come up, and it should be level because we just checked it, so we know it's level. All right, so I measured my levitate, and from the bottom of my Peep to my D-loop is 5 and about 1/4. So we're gonna put it on here and see how she's lining up. Check all our timings and make sure that Peep is twisting correctly. Okay. Hitting there. Hitting there. Those look pretty good. Peep's not perfect, but doable. I leave it like it is and shoot it after about 100 shots. Check the timing again. So far, that looks great as far as tuning and timing goes. Okay, I'm gonna check the Peep on me now and see if we need to tie it in permanently. All right, so all I'm doing now, I'm gonna check the Peep height, make sure it's lining up like I want it before I tie it in permanently, and then after that, I think we'll be ready to shoot for real. That's just about perfect. Let me move it though, where it's not at 0. It's going to be a tack bow, so I'm hoping to be shooting long distances. So that's 50 out of 100 on this tape, which is just a setup tape. Yeah, that's perfect. Peep Site's got a slight twist in it, but not too bad. This method is not very pretty. It's not like one of those decorative ones that you see other people doing, but it is pretty foolproof. It does work. It's hard to move. or not movable, I should say. And I know that because I've had to undo them before. So I'm gonna start off just doing knot on top, knot on bottom. Probably do 3 knots like this. Cinch them up good. This is the fastest way that I know to do it, and still be a really good solid knot. So there's probably, let's do 1 more on bottom. So that should be 2 knots on top and 2 knots on bottom. Do a square knot at the end after that one, just to keep it from pulling back against itself. All right, so now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these up one side, just doing half hitches, and the other one up the other side doing half hitches. Not any particular reason why one goes one way and the other in my mind. There might be somebody that'll tell you different. But those knots that we've got on there those 4 knots we already put on there should be enough to keep it from really going anywhere. So there's 1, and we're just gonna stack these up. Our goal is 6 of them. 2. 3 and 6. So we got 6 on that side. Do 6 on this side. One. Those are all good and cinched up tight. Cut them and burn them. Alright, I am going to go with a little bit smaller aperture in this. I thought that one would be enough, but we'll bump down 1 more size. If we go deer hunting, we might go back to this little bit bigger one, let a little more light in. Alright, next up, let's paper tune. Hopefully we don't have to mess with any top hats. That's the one worry I don't want to have to mess with, but supposedly real easy if we do. So, first shot, since I guess I shot it 2 times at the bow shop. It's not what we wanted to see. I think, unfortunately, that means we've got to move our top hats. One thing I wanted to check before I did the top hats was 13/16 is what they recommend at center. This one is just about spot on 13/16. I don't know if you can see that, but just about spot on. All right, so top hats. Let's see here. We're going to see if we can, not lose all the parts, because that would be bad. And we're going to try to shove this one out without losing anything. Take a little more. There we go. Alright, so there's the axle. Pull this back and pull the cam up. Okay. This one's already coming out on its own. This one here may need a little bit. There we go. So we'll just swap these over. Cat's playing with something. Put this bad boy back in here. Run this back in. Same way we took it out. All good there. tighten these bad boys back on. Alright, so let's make a long story short. Basically, the top hats that I had on here wouldn't move the cam over enough to get a bullet hole. So I had to actually go to a bow shop, get a new set of top hats, put them in. Finally got it shooting a bullet hole. And I'll tell you, this thing is a shooter. It holds steady. Now I've got a bunch of weight on the front. I got my 15-inch bar in. I've got a bunch of weight on the back. You know, it's a light bow, but if you're wanting to shoot target stuff with it, kind of need to add some weight, I think, to make it stable. Light bows are great. I love my Levitate. They're not super accurate, though, from my experience. So with adding some weight on the outer ends of this, it gets it real steady. So, so far, this one's been a shooter. I hadn't even got it sighted in yet. Super pleased with it so far. We'll kind of see as I go through the sight-in phase, when you start reaching out to those longer distances, how I feel about it then. Stick around. The next video is going to be sighting this in and really a little more in-depth thoughts on it, because so far I've just put it together and shot it at 20 yards. I've got my 20 pretty close to being on, and so I'm going to have to shoot it on out to like 60 to get my sight tape on, and we'll see what I really think about it then. So appreciate you watching. If you've stuck around, like, subscribe. You don't want to miss the next one. We're going to go an in-depth review on this lift, and we'll see what we really think about it. Stick around.